What's going on? My name is Nurse James. I am a registered nurse, psychiatric travel nurse, and mental health nurse practitioner student. In this video, we're going to focus on my experiences with travel nursing. Stay tuned. So, around May 2021, I had an amazing opportunity to do travel nursing. The contract paid around $10,000 a week, and honestly, this is probably the most money that I ever made in my life. But even with that said, I still had my doubts. I had my doubts that I wasn't smart enough, and traveling from New Jersey to California, if it didn't work out, I wouldn't have that job stability anymore. So I talked to one of my colleagues and they said, James, if anything were to happen to you today, the hospital will replace you tomorrow. So that night, I prayed, and again, I talked to God, and I also listened to my gut feeling. And let me tell you about your gut feeling. My gut feeling has saved me on so many different occasions. So when your gut feeling talks to you, listen to it. And since California, I've made so many different relationships. I've learned so much, and it's probably the best decision that I ever made in my life. To become a travel nurse, you need at least 2 years of experience in the specialty that you plan to travel in. And I think that this is an essential requirement because once you arrive at these facilities, you may, and I quote, you may receive a day or two of orientation, and then you're expected to hit the ground running and still give care at the level of the nurses that have been working there for many of years. And there's been many of times that I received a patient that was declining, or I received like crazy doctor's orders, and the experiences that I already had and the knowledge that I already had allowed me to advocate for my patient and also save lives. An additional requirement would be to save up a significant amount of money. So when you leave for your first travel assignment, you're going to be expected to pay for gas. You might have to pay for a flight. Also, you have to pay for where you're going to be living at. And you may not receive your first paycheck until 2 or 3 weeks after you arrived at the facility. And there's been plenty of times that I accepted a contract, and once I got there, my contract was canceled. So I think saving up a significant amount of money prior to starting a contract is a important thing to do. So let's talk about the pros and cons of travel nursing. So the first obvious one is that you get to visit and live in places that you normally would not have the opportunity to live in had you not been doing travel nursing. So my very first contract was in California, and this was a crisis contract. So I had the opportunity to work at different parts of California. And after California, my next contract was in Charlotte, North Carolina. And I actually worked in North Carolina for an entire year. And this is where I brought my puppy from, Ava. Good. Hey, girl. Hey. Yo, so this is Ava. Hey. And she's spoiled rotten. Hey. Hey. Good girl. From Charlotte, North Carolina, I went back home and I did a few local contracts. From New Jersey, I went to Vermont during the wintertime, which is a place in time that I thought I would never work. From Vermont, I went to Rochester, New York, And from Rochester, New York, I went back to New Jersey, and I'm currently living in New Jersey and working in New Jersey on a local contract to allow me the time to study for my nurse practitioner degree. And I guess that's another pro. Being a travel nurse allows you to make your own schedule. You can work when you want, and you can not work when you want, and you could be more selective when it comes to scheduling. And that's definitely another pro and a benefit when you're doing contracts. And another pro would be the amount of experiences that I have been exposed to working in different areas and different states. For example, when I was working in Vermont, I had the privilege of caring for a mother that was experiencing postpartum psychosis. And this mom had attempted to drown all of her children in the beach. And of course, I read about this disease process in textbook, but this was my first time ever seeing it in person. And had I stayed home in New Jersey, confined to one hospital, I may not have ever had the opportunity to visualize this disease process in person. Another pro is that travel nursing makes you a quick learner and also a critical thinker. When you enter these facilities, you're responsible for learning all of the policies of wherever you're going to be working at, and you're also going to be responsible for knowing all of the state laws for the facility that you're going to be working in. Developing the skills to pick up on these things really will make you a faster learner and also a critical thinker, and this skill is invaluable. And the last pro would be the friendships and relationships that I've been able to make along the way. I've been able to learn so much from everyone that I met, from the techs to the nurses to the nurse practitioners to the doctors. And when you work with people every single day for long periods of time, trust them and lean on them. And I would say that one of the biggest pros that I've gained as a travel nurse is the relationships that I've built. And I'm forever appreciative of all of these relationships. So the first con is taxes. When it comes time to file taxes, you're responsible for your federal taxes, but also state taxes, which includes the state that you live in, but also the state that you're working in. And when it comes time to file taxes, you'll understand that it's definitely a con. So to combat that, I would recommend getting a CPA. I have a CPA that specializes in travel nursing, and my CPA has been able to help me save a lot of money. The next con would be that most travel contracts are at will, so that means that you're able to cancel your contract at any time and you don't need a reason why you want to cancel it. But also the hospital or the agency that you're with can also cancel your contract at any time. My first contract in California, in the middle of the contract, the agency canceled everyone's contract and we all had to go home. And this can become problematic if you were relying on that money or really needed that money, or in my case, quit your staff job and went across the country for this position. I think early struggles was actually being so far away from home. When I worked in California, I worked 6 days out of the week, and I also worked in the prison system. So when you work in the prison, you're not allowed to have your phone with you at all. And it was also an hour commute to the prison and then an hour commute back. So 6 days out of the week, I wasn't in communication with my family or friends. And I think I was actually depressed during that time. So after that contract, I learned to be more selective. I learned to prioritize relationships and communication with my friends. And most importantly, I prioritize self-caring, because if we don't take care of ourselves, we're in no position to take care of the vulnerable people that we provide care to at work. My advice for people that are interested in travel nursing would be to make sure that you're competent in your specialty, because at the end of the day, you're going to be responsible for someone's mom. You're going to be responsible for someone's dad. My next piece of advice would be to know your why. Your why is something that's bigger than you, that propels you forward when you feel like you want to quit. There's a misconception that people only do traveling because of the money. And if you're only doing travel nursing because of money, your patients can sense it and it's gonna show. Lastly, if you are interested in travel nursing and this is what you truly wanna do, don't let anybody talk you out of it. Don't feel like you're not good enough. I know that you can do it. Some days are gonna be harder than others, but that comes with the profession. Self-care, love yourself, make time for your family, make time for your friends, and most importantly, make time for yourself, and I know you're gonna do great. If you're still watching my video at this time, thank you so much for taking the time to watch my first ever video. Please like, subscribe, comment, share, and hopefully you'll be seeing more of me. My name is Nurse James, and thank you for watching.